Hi friends, welcome to Sri Sai IT Hub. In this video of Core Java Programming, we are going to discuss the following topic: exceptions in inheritance in Java program. Right, so first of all, let us start with a small revision on exception. What is exception? Exception means runtime error. What is runtime error? Error which occurs during execution time of a program is known as runtime error. Why exceptions will occur? So basically exceptions or runtime errors occurs when we give wrong input while executing the program. What happens when exception occurs? So when exception occurs, our program execution stops at that particular line. Remaining lines of statements are not executed, and technically it is called as abnormal termination of the program or breakdown of the program. So to avoid abnormal termination of the program, we have to perform exception handling mechanism. So exception handling mechanism is done with try block. So try block is used to monitor or detect the exception in our program which may occur during execution time. Throw keyword. So throw keyword is used inside a try block to say that exception had occur using throw exception object, and then catch block. It is used to accept the exception and provide appropriate solution for our exception. So when exception handling mechanism is done, there is no abnormal termination of the program. Normal execution of the program happens. So now coming to exceptions in inheritance. What does it mean? So it means subclass exceptions can be handled by base class exceptions. So subclass exceptions can be handled by base class exceptions. So for example, let us say that we have throwable class at the top level of exception classes, and for this we have the subclass exception. Right. So under exceptions we have some checked exceptions and we also have unchecked exceptions. Checked exceptions and then unchecked exceptions. Right. So some unchecked exceptions are, we have something like runtime exception, and under runtime exception we have arithmetic exception, null pointer exception. So here for arithmetic exception and null pointer exception, the base class is runtime exception, and for runtime exception the base class is exception class, and then for exception class the base class is throwable class. So here subclass exceptions can be handled by base classes. It means arithmetic exception and null pointer exceptions can be handled by runtime exception. Okay, so here arithmetic exception or null pointer exception can be handled by runtime exception. Okay, reason Runtime exception is base class for arithmetic exception and null pointer exception, both of them. So this is what we call it as exceptions in inheritance. So what exactly happens here is, here upcasting happens. That is subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable. So upcasting happens, which means subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable. Right, so let us try to demonstrate this with a small program. Exceptions in inheritance, example 1. Program to work with exceptions in inheritance. So take a new page, first write the comments, take the main class, exceptions in inheritance example 1 with main method. So save this in our working directory, exceptions in inheritance example 1 .java. Right, so let us try to demonstrate this with the basic ones, something like arithmetic exception and null pointer exception. So int a comma b comma c, and then we'll take string ss is equals to ss. So let us say a is equals to 10, b is equals to 0, and then ss is equals to null. Right, so we'll take try and then followed by catch. So in catch block we'll pass the parameter as runtime exception e. Okay, runtime exception re. So runtime exception is an unchecked exception. So try catch is not compulsory. We have to detect and put try catch. So here first we'll take c is equals to a by b, and then system dot out dot println, and we'll print here division plus c. But here we are going to get a exception for c a by b 10 by 0. So this 10 by 0 is arithmetic exception. So this arithmetic exception is automatically created by JVM because it is a predefined exception. So new arithmetic exception object is created. Okay, so created by JVM because it is a predefined exception. So this exception is handled in runtime exception RE. So this is upcasting process. Subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable, and then inside the catch block we'll check if RE instance of arithmetic exception. So instance of operator checks whether a particular object contains its subclass reference code or not. So RE contains subclass object reference code, true. Then we'll say system dot out dot println division by 0 not okay. Right, so save this, open the command prompt, go to your working directory and compile the program. Exceptions in inheritance example 1.java. So no error, so run it. Java exceptions in inheritance, so division by 0 not okay. So here new arithmetic exception is caught by runtime exception. So subclass object reference code and base class object reference variable. So this is upcasting process. So similarly we'll put a comment for this. and then we'll say system dot out dot println will print string length ss dot length. So ss contains null dot length will get null pointer exception. So null pointer exception is a subclass of runtime exception. Okay, so first of all, here new runtime exception object is automatically created by JVM. Automatically created by JVM. Okay, so this exception is thrown from try block to runtime exception. So runtime exception is a base class for, so here, yeah, it's not runtime exception. Here it is null pointer exception. Null pointer exception is automatically created by JVM and it is thrown to catch. So in catch, it is caught by runtime exception because it is a base class for null pointer exception. And here we'll check if RE instance of arithmetic exception, no, false. We'll take one more condition, if RE instance of null pointer exception, true. So then we'll print the message something like operation on null value is not okay. So operation on null value is not okay. Right. So save it. Now null pointer exception is executed. Right. Save, recompile and run. So operation on null value is not okay. Previously division by 0. So we can use instance of operator in upcasting process to check whether base class object reference variable contains subclass object reference code or not. So it is like a comparison operator. So the node point goes like this. So first case, runtime exception RE is equals to, okay, new arithmetic exception. So subclass object reference code in base class object reference variable. Exceptions in inheritance, it is upcasting. And similarly, the second case, new null pointer exception. So here also upcasting happens in both the cases. And then instance of operator. Okay. So instance of operator checks whether base class object reference variable contains subclass object reference code or not. Okay. And gives true or false. Okay. And this operator works in upcasting only. So instance of operator works with upcasting only. So upcasting only, and it is a comparison operator. It is a comparison operator. So this is how subclass exceptions, arithmetic exception, null pointer exception can be handled by base class exceptions, base class object reference variables. So this is what is all about exceptions in inheritance in Java program. Thank you for watching this video. Do like, comment and share this video, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel Sri Sai IT Hub. Have a nice day.